All right. So today I will be going over why I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, part one, by Dawood, which is myself. So I just made this video over one precept or verse, which is going to be Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And what I'm going to try to show to you is how Hebrew Israelites bring out Deuteronomy 28 and 68 isn't necessarily true according to sources and other the language. So Hebrew Israelites will try to bring out Deuteronomy 28 and 68 in the King James Version, which I'm going to read right here. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bond men and bond women, and no man shall buy you. All right. So the way a Hebrew Israelite would break this down would be I'll read it as if I was a Hebrew Israelite. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. And they would say, Egypt, what does Egypt mean? Egypt means something like captivity. And ships, how did our people get here? On ships. So this verse is talking about the Lord shall bring thee into captivity again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Have you ever been back to your homeland? They would ask. And most people would say no. And then it would say, there you shall be sold into your enemies. So they would ask the person who they're speaking to, what happened to our people when we made it to America? Were we sold into our friends? Were we sold into our people? No, we were sold into the white man, our enemies. And it would really make sure that you understood the white man is your enemy. And they would say, for bond men and bond women, and no man shall buy you. And how they would break down, and no man should buy you, is that no man shall redeem you out this captivity, as in nobody saved you out of slavery. So that would be how a Hebrew Israelite would try to break this down. But the only problem is, or one of the problems to be honest, is when you read multiple other versions, such as the NIV, NOT, ESV, Berean Standard Bible, and the New King James Bible, it gives you a different understanding, which I'll read the NIV right now. The Lord will send you back in ships to Egypt on a journey I said you should never make again. There you will offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. So in this, we see that you will offer yourselves for sale. So that almost gives a different understanding than what we see in the King James version, which says, "You shall be sold." So the KJV says, "You shall be sold," but the NIV says, "You shall offer yourselves for sale." So that's an interesting way. That's a very big difference. One says you will be sold, and the other says you will offer yourselves. But when you look at which one's probably true, you will see that most of these other versions also say you will offer yourself, you will offer to sell yourself to your enemy as slaves, but no one will buy you. The ESV says, and there you shall offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there should be no buyer. So what we're getting from this is that you offer yourselves to sale, but there will be no buyers, meaning that you're not needed. You're going to try to sell yourself, but you can't even sell yourself. That gives a way different understanding than the KJV saying you will be sold into your enemies. And the reason these versions say you shall offer yourselves for sale is because when you go back into the Hebrew, you see that this is the word sell, which I believe is makar. I I could look it up right now, but just because I'm not, I guess you just got to trust me. You can look it up yourself. And it's in the hit pil verb stem. I believe that's what you would call it. and the word is to sell, which is makar. So when it's in the hit pi l stem, I'll read it here. It indicates reflexive, reciprocal, or intensive actions. It is a dynamic and reflexive verbal form used in biblical Hebrew, often expressing actions that are performed by the subject upon themselves or in relation to others. So when you read that and get the understanding that the word for sell in this verse is in the hip pi l stem, you understand that they're selling themselves, not that they're getting sold. But if you encounter a Hebrew Israelite on the streets, they would never explain this to you. Possibly because they don't understand, maybe because they do understand and they don't, and it wouldn't help their cause. There's a various amount of reasons why they wouldn't go into this. I do think the majority just don't know or they haven't researched it themselves. And I'm just show you a video on um, how it goes down. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Right up. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Being in captivity. Sean might read on. With ships. With what? With ships. With ships. Now, how did so-called black people get to America? What form of transportation? Did we swim over here? Let me check to see if everything's recording. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it, so I'll go back. Did we fly over in first class? No, we was on those slave ships, stacked on each other like sardines, right? Pissing on each other, feasting on each other, women having their periods on each other. All these things is happening on those slave ships, right? By the way, we're up. I spake unto thee, right? Thou shalt see it no more again. Have we ever been back to our homeland as a collective nation of people? Right? What do you think our homeland is? Right? Our homeland is right? That's where we from. The so-called part of the world. Okay? And there he shall be sold. Thou shalt see no more again. And there he shall be sold unto your enemies. To your friends. To your enemies. To your enemies. To your enemies. The Lord said the Israelites have been sold to their enemies. And what people was he sold to off those slaves? So-called white man. And so what is God calling the white man in our Bible? The Lord said we were sold to our enemies. And we know for a fact we were sold to the white man. And who is the white man? He's our enemy, right? All right, read on. Yeah, so you see how they really try to emphasize that the white man is your enemy. Just something to note. For buying men and buying women. For buying men and buying women. Again, he's our enemy. Because a friend wouldn't put none of these things. A friend wouldn't beat your damn back like that. Right? A friend wouldn't feed your baby to alligators. Right? A friend wouldn't rape your wife. With all these things, I what the white man did to us in captivity. And no man shall buy you. And no man shall buy you out of that captivity. And no man shall redeem you from these conditions. That's right. So these things happen to us if we fail to keep the commandments of the Lord. Like give me 28 and 15. All right. So I think they're pretty much done with the verse. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and I'm going to show you another video about how it should be breaking down. Offering of yourself, right? In a reflective sense, it's an offer, right? That's more reflective. To Nephi would be more physically, I'm selling myself, right? Almost like prostitution. And you'll see that sometimes in some other places with prostitution. It'll give you the sense of it, right? So here, and you will offer yourselves, and you will offer yourself. So no longer you will be sold to your enemies, and you will offer yourselves to your enemies, and then they'll bring up yourself. And the reason he says you will offer yourselves is because of the hip pile stem. It would mean that you're offering yourselves. And that's just all I want to bring out about Deuteronomy 28 and 68. I know there's going to be a couple of videos made on this, why I'm wrong, stuff like that. Because I know how the Israelites are. They'll make 50 videos on you. But yeah, I just want to bring this out, and hopefully this gives you a better understanding on Deuteronomy 28 and 68.